Welcome to this week's episode of Drawing on Experience by Noname Porter-McShirley, produced by Riffle Publishing Incorporated. A few years after I was married, we moved from an apartment in town to a little farmhouse on a couple of acres, still within easy driving distance of the city. The house and yard were bordered by woods on one side, and on the other sides there were hay fields, sheep, horses, and barnyard cats. Our 2-year-old son was so delighted with the outdoors and the huge fenced yard to run and play in that he almost always wanted to be outside. Whenever I could afford the time, I would sit in the grass watching him play while I wrote letters, read books, and watched the birds. I easily spotted over a dozen kinds of birds, including bluebirds. Even though we were renting the house, the landlord encouraged us to treat the place like our own, and one of the first things I did was order several bluebird houses to mount on the fence posts and tree trunks around the yard. I wanted to make sure the colorful creatures stayed around where we could enjoy watching them, and hoped our son would be able to witness the bluebirds feeding and fledging their young. Now, many Americans think of December as winter. You've probably heard the song, "I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas." But the reason a white Christmas is a dream is that it's possible and fun, but not guaranteed. Snow during Christmas shopping and family gatherings helps to signify that autumn celebrations are gone and winter fun has arrived. Snow is beautiful and makes us want to snuggle in our warm houses with hot comfort food. But not only does snow sometimes fail to happen before January, remember that it has to be cold to snow, but not too cold. In the harshest parts of winter, the air is too cold and too dry for snow to form. February can have the worst of the year's windy, hard freezes and feel like the deadest, deepest part of winter. There's not much wild food in February, especially not the protein-rich abundance of insects required to feed fast-growing baby bluebirds. Yet February is when bluebirds are making plans for their future families by selecting mates and staking claim to their favorite nesting sites. The reason installing bluebird houses was one of the first things I did at that farmhouse was that we were moving into the house early in the year, and I was hoping I wasn't too late to interest a few of the birds. As it turned out, the bluebirds had plenty of natural nest sites in the woods, which they preferred. But that was okay, because they still like to sit on low-hanging tree branches in our yard and swoop down on insects in the grass. And other types of birds were happy to use the bird boxes I had installed. But the point I want to make is that in the middle of winter, the bluebirds were not sitting around in depression thinking, "Man, this is the worst winter I've ever seen. I don't think there will ever be another summer. This is no kind of world to have kids in. There's no point in getting out of bed." And neither did they say, "I'll wait and see if we have a summer, and if so, then I'll find a house." Because if they had waited, then by summer, the safest houses near the best food sources and the best mates would have all been taken by other birds. It would have been too late to have a family. We humans are so easily wrapped up in our imaginations of doom and gloom. We so easily fall into the black hole of fear and depression. Sure, it's good to think about all the future possibilities, so we can best prepare and have contingency plans if times are hard. But we need to remember that throughout the many thousands of years of known history, many, many people have felt like they were facing the end of humanity. Yet somehow we keep going. And somehow we keep improving the overall quality of life. The more hope we have, and the more we do what we can right now in preparation for the coming seasons, the happier we will be, both now and in the future. I want to leave you with a movie recommendation that should increase your useful knowledge of history and human capability, inspire you to love and appreciate life and freedom, make you grateful for what you have and where you are, and motivate you to work at both living the best life you can and helping those around you. In that, you can feel joyful purpose. The movie is titled Defiance. Released in 2008-2009, the movie stars Daniel Craig and is set during the occupation of Belarus by Nazi Germany during World War II. It's a true story. The people in the story didn't always get everything right. Life is confusing and hard, and we have to work our way along, learning as we go. But the driving principle was to live and help others to live. They defied what others assumed to be mandatory by refusing to give up and refusing to join the war as much as they could. They had their fears about helping too many people instead of looking out for only themselves. But 1 more, 2 more, 6 more, you find a way and work together. While the world fought around them and even against them at times, they cared for their old and raised new children. They grew from 3 brothers to a village of 1,200, whose descendants now number in the tens of thousands. So enjoy spring. Enjoy the birds. Choose to see hope for tomorrow. Make positive and productive choices. Work for what you want. Help other people. Feel the joy of life. And when you need a break, maybe watch that movie. Here we are at the end of what I have to share for this week. So I hope you'll join me next week for another drawing and a completely different story. Until then, check out my daily doodles that are only a minute long right here on this same channel. Thank you for watching, and I'd be honored if you chose to recommend this channel to your friends. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again soon.